I think number one thing, we've done so much work up to this point. It's putting the helmets on, getting the helmets put on. It's a little bit more weight on their body finally, and running around and seeing what that looks like. But again, really like the kids' attitude. They came out and flew around today. And also you're coming off of a holiday, and how the kids respond to that. And I thought they responded really well.
You got a veteran group coming back. Lots of guys who were young last year now. A little bit more experienced, a little bit older. What are you looking for from this team here this season?
I think it's a combined leadership. Looking at we have a very, very solid group of seniors back that played a bunch last year. We have a solid group of juniors that played a bunch of sophomores last year. So getting that group to combine and gel and get the correct leadership going forward, and getting the team to kind of come together. And then also we're going to have a couple of younger kids that are going to play up again this year. So it all comes to how we can get that recipe to work. I think good. That's one thing we need to see. Teams like Temple, need to see that speed. That's one thing we try to do in our non-district schedule. We're going to scrimmage Temple with 6A. We're going to play Hutto 6A. We're going to play Fort Bend Bush 6A, and just trying to see that speed, so we get into our district that it's not just a shock when you go against those teams that have those guys that can run up and down the field. So trying to see that early is the main thing, and obviously trying to tackle it, because it's been a long time since we hit anybody.
And you've been dealing with COVID, regulations for the better part of the summer now, and now that you're moving into actually practicing and starting to kind of get in more close contact with each other. How has that kind of adjusted?
It's a matter of getting a mask on and wearing them. It's tough. When we condition, we let the kids take them down, because there's just absolutely no way to condition with a mask on. But when they're in drills, if they can keep them on, especially underneath the helmets now. But it was really good today. Most of the kids were able to keep the mask up in the helmet, and especially when they're out of the drill, pulling the mask back up and just trying to keep that distance. That's the hardest thing, is to distance kids out. But again, the kids have been doing a lot of this stuff this summer, so getting kind of used to it by now, and hopefully we can keep that at a minimum. I think some of the main things are what the kids do away from school. We have a little bit more control of things here as far as spraying things down. I mean, it's a constant. We have backpack sprayers. We're spraying the weight room 3 times a day. We're doing laundry 3 times a day, spraying the locker rooms 3 times a day. So there's a lot that we can, I'm not going to say control, but can at least try to help prevent. It's when the kids go away from here, being smart, making your circle of friends smaller. And I heard a guy say it best about 3 months ago. He said, trying to leave as few footprints as you can everywhere you go. So we tell the kids all the time, just watch what you're doing, watch where you're going, watch who you're with. And if you're with people that's out of your pod, put a mask on.
Oh, I thought they did great. Luckily the UIL gave us those extra days for summer strength conditioning, some skill work. So I feel like, we're pretty far ahead of where we need to be. I think the big thing about today is putting on the helmets and just getting used to that weight. They haven't had any helmets on since last fall, so the gear of a football player is pretty heavy. So just starting off with the helmet and getting them going, but they're in pretty good condition, and real proud of how they did today. Well, we're just trying to be sure. Today's a little different because they all have helmets, so they don't have to have all their masks on. But the big thing was when we were out here for summer strength conditions, just being sure all the kids had their mask on and staying 6 feet apart. And that's always tough, because you got to turn around and remind somebody of this or that. But knock on wood, I don't got any wood out here, but we've been lucky and we haven't had any cases. So the good Lord's been watching us. So we know it's all around us, but we've been real lucky.
And that talk to your team, you seemed really excited about your defense. What's the cause for that excitement?
Well, we got basically everybody back on offense and defense, and they're very aggressive. They're very fast. Coach Pope does a great job, as a defensive coordinator, and he brings lots of heat from different directions. So as an offense, you got to be able to pick it up, and it's good for our offense to have to go against that, and it's great for our defense just to kind of go, good on good and see what we can do.
Back to the grind again tomorrow. Must be nice to be back on the field and getting ready for your first scrimmage.
Oh yes, sir. We're ready to go. We want to get against somebody other than us. So we want to see any color other than green right now. So we can't wait to get to our first scrimmage against Bryan and our first game against Bastrop.